Hi, my name is Jake Heisman, and I will be discussing Denmark and the climate change. Denmark is a Nordic country located in northern Europe. It consists of the Jutland Peninsula and hundreds of smaller islands in the Baltic Sea. The climate in Denmark is mild and has a temperate climate. It has high levels of precipitation yearly, and many of the days are cloudy and humid. Denmark has a population of 5.6 million citizens and is also known as a classic welfare state. What that means is all citizens are entitled to free schooling, free childcare, and free healthcare. The government consists of a parliamentary democracy. The Danish parliament is called the Folketinget, and the Danes elect their parliamentary representatives every 4 years, similar to how the US operates. Denmark is also a monarchy. Currently, the ceremonial head of state is Queen Margaret. Although the Danish royal family has no political influence, they are very symbolic to the country. In 2016, Denmark's CO2 emission levels were right around 38 million metric tons. That is 0.11% of the global share. Their CO2 emissions have been decreasing each year as Denmark continues to move forward towards more sources of clean energy. In 2015, fossil fuel energy consumption for Denmark was 64.9%. Fossil fuel consumption has decreased about 30% from the 99.7% that it was initially at in 1963. Denmark is one of the most progressive countries when it comes to combating climate change. Since Denmark consists of many small islands, climate change has many effects on their citizens and wildlife. Climate change has caused rising sea levels and increasing amounts of precipitation. The mean temperature is also increasing. Regarding Denmark's wildlife, they are also being negatively affected. As a result of the higher temperatures, there is increased biological production in some of the ecosystems, and there are longer growing seasons. Because of the increased precipitation, there are higher nutrient loads, which leads to overgrowth and oxygen depletion in some of the water. The rising sea levels are leading to increased erosion and flooding of the lower coastlines, tidal areas, and river valleys. These effects will mean that several habitat types will become more sensitive, and some species will be at a higher risk of disappearing because they have no possibility for moving to other areas and less time to adapt. Thankfully, Denmark is one of the leading nations in adapting to climate change. In Denmark, 30% of all energy used already comes from renewable resources. Wind energy is well established, and they are the leaders in the world of wind energy. Denmark is also one of the leading exporters of wind energy around the world. They are currently creating a giant offshore wind farm on an island in the Baltic Sea. Upon completion in 2022, the wind farm will be able to produce enough electricity to power 600,000 households. The newly elected parliament is very progressive in changing to more renewable resources for Denmark to use. They have already begun to use more bioenergy, solar energy, and geothermal energy. This year, Denmark generated half its electricity from wind and solar power alone. Also, many of the Danish power plants have switched from using fossil fuels to biomass, which is energy powered by wood pellets, wood chips, and straw. Two more positive adaptations to climate change in Denmark are the ban of all new diesel and petrol cars starting in 2030 and the commitment to be a fossil-free energy state system by 2050. All of these adaptations are paving the path at reducing climate change and creating a positive future for our planet.